Hey folks, David Stewart here. Hope you guys are having a great day. I know I am so far. Hopefully that'll continue with the stream. So what I thought I'd do for this stream is just design some book covers, maybe one, maybe two. If anybody needs a book cover right now, I will just do one for you to just demonstrate what you can do with AI art to develop a book cover really quickly and for a really low expense. Something that actually will look really good and not require you to do a whole bunch of Photoshop work or that kind of stuff. Because one of the things I think that holds back a lot of authors from success is covers and cover design. And so AI art can provide the image. You have to still have an artist's eye to know what kind of image you want and what's going to work for your book. You got to know a little bit about marketing in your genre. Then I'll show the other elements that go into designing a book cover, which is going to be font, color spaces, the general composition of how the cover ought to look for the genre that you're trying to make a cover in. Of course, most of the genres that I work in are science fiction, fantasy, horror, and of course nonfiction, and so I know what those genre covers tend to look like, and so I can do those maybe a little bit easier in some cases than something like I don't know. Actually, romance is pretty easy, so we could even do a romance cover if we want. We could see if the AI art can do it, but the AI art is going to be really good for fantasy covers and horror covers in particular, things where it's about the mood of the image and the color that's presented and the idea of the image, and not so much about like really specific details. Romance may not be the best for AI art because you pretty much, like, you could do a good background, but you're going to have some kind of man with abs on the cover. So you probably just need to get that from like a stock photo place. So that's still going to be like a Photoshop cover. Luckily, most romance covers are pretty easy to do in Photoshop, whereas complex things like fantasy and science fiction covers require a little bit more work to develop, even from stock photos. You're doing a lot of compositing work. You're doing a lot of artistic work in order to make it happen. So that's what we're going to try to do here. I'm going to use Midjourney. Midjourney can use Stable Diffusion, but the thing about Stable Diffusion is what are you trying to do with it is the question. We're trying to compose an image with mood. So Midjourney is really good at that. You could use something like Night Cafe, which can produce pretty good landscapes. Stable Diffusion, I think, tends to be very good at producing things like faces, though Midjourney does painted faces fairly well already. So you can use Stable Diffusion with Midjourney. That's like one of the beta features. It's not all the way there yet, so I don't think I'm going to dabble too much in it today, but we could try it out. And so what I'm going to demonstrate today is we're going to generate the images. I'm going to show you how to refine the images using Midjourney, which is, of the AIs that I've tried out so far, it's my favorite because it is very versatile and you can create a lot of different things with it. So I'll be doing that, and then we'll put it into Photoshop, and we'll develop a cover from that. Now, I'm going to show Photoshop because it's the industry standard, but you could do everything that I'm going to do in other programs, like even Inkscape, which I've done videos on how to do covers in Inkscape. And even though those are years old at this point, the techniques are going to be the same. What does the font look like? What's the kerning? What's the elements that you're going to do to the font? And things like drop shadows, textures, that kind of stuff. How do you do all that? There's a million little specific Photoshop techniques that go into design, but if you get the big design elements correct, you actually don't need to do all those. Some big mistakes that I see people make is choosing bad fonts, having the same font for their title and the author name, which is generally a no-no. You want those to look different so that it's clear what the title is and who the author is. Not using text effects correctly, like not using drop shadows or things like that in order to make the text look more defined, in order to define the text. Especially digital book covers are all about high contrast. So being able to increase the contrast of the image in a bunch of different ways is really going to be helpful. So that's what we're going to do today. I can't find my PlayStation Vita, so I don't know if we'll do Final Fantasy VII later on today or not, or if we'll just do this and maybe play a different game, play some Final Fantasy 14 or something. I haven't played it in forever. Play something in 4K, I don't know. Might try a 4K stream and see if like my internet connection can handle streaming in 4K. But anyway, we'll try that out. Sergeant Slim Jim, love that image you tagged me on Twitter. Okay, I made it in Midjourney. So let me move some things around here, and I should be able to show you what I'm talking about here. So I have a little framing. I work with a really big monitor. So because I work with a really big monitor, I have to just show like a portion of it in order to like really show you what I'm doing here. So I might need to just, let's see, can I just hide this up here? Let's put this over here. Sorry, I'm just trying to get it so I'm not seeing myself in a bunch of places. This is actually higher than a 1080p resolution, but you should be able to see what I'm talking about here. So, okay. So Midjourney operates through Discord, which is a little bit weird, right? But it is something that I think is kind of cool. Now I'm just going to do it in the private message mode because I actually have a Midjourney subscription. This makes it a lot easier. It keeps things cleaner. You can see some of the stuff that I was experimenting with recently. This is something my son wanted, which was like a skeleton on fire riding a ghostly horse. A city of mushrooms. It can do some really weird things. H.R. Geiger, it can really make some good H.R. Geiger type images, as you can see here. You can get some really, really interesting things out of the bot using H.R. Geiger as a tag. But here's an example. I think I put Demon Souls or something in it it'll pull, learn from art from whatever tag you happen to put in it. You can get some really interesting looking things like this. Now this by itself could actually be book cover. The background's already in it and the central image is good enough. Yeah, this is a little bit weird, but people are not going to notice it at first glance. Remember, you're trying to get people to click on it. That's the point of the book cover. It's an ad. So if the image that's produced is not like absolutely perfect, that's actually okay. We mostly want the overall composition of the image to be correct, the contrast to be right, the colors to be right, to get the mood that we want out of the cover or out of the image. So let me pop out the chat here so I can like see what you guys are saying a little bit better. Here we go. This over here. Okay. Now I can see what everybody's saying a little bit better. Okay. There's different subscriptions for this. I got a cheaper one because I'm not doing like hundreds of images a day. There's like an unlimited one that's like $30 a month. Depending on what I was doing as an independent artist, I could absolutely see myself replacing my stock image plan with this. I don't use all of my stock images every month for blogs and things, so I could totally just see myself generating a bunch of AI images instead of using stock images at all. And each one's going to be unique to whatever content you're doing. Like if you do a blog post, you have an image, an AI image that goes with it, and you just don't really have to do a lot of work to make that image work on your blog post. That's a big benefit, $10 for 200 images. To put that in perspective, you get with Adobe stock, it's like $20 a month for like 10 images, like 10 or 15 images, right, of pre-rendered stuff. So it's actually a deal, but most of those images that you're going to use are actually not going to be usable. Anyway, let's decide on. Now I'm going to reiterate some things I said in the last stream. Does this replace artists? The answer is no. It does not replace artists. Okay. The reason is because although it can produce interesting images, it's not good at compositing large, complex things the way a real artist can. It can't really produce a Baroque painting. It can't produce the things that an actual artist would, with maybe a foreground person and a background that contains all the elements that you want. You're really going to have to do an artist, or you're going to have to take multiple of these and then composite them together in Photoshop the way you would with stock images anyway, but it'll just have a more artistic look because it'll look more painted. So no, it won't replace artists, good artists. It will replace bad artists, and that's the other thing, is that most artists that you're going to hire are going to be bad. I hate to say it that way, but like Art schools have been terrible at training artists for 100 years, so people don't even know what good art's supposed to look like. People don't know how to paint. Most of the people who have an art degree are completely incompetent. That's just reality. Especially incompetent when you're looking to generate a painting that you want for a book cover. They're just not going to be there. So real artists are expensive. You're going to be spending $1,000 plus for a good painting for a cover. Well, if you're an indie artist and you're only going to sell a couple hundred copies, it really doesn't make a lot of sense to spend that much money on a cover. It's a terrible business decision. But if you can spend like a couple cents on the image and do the rest of the design yourself, based on the principles I'm going to show you, it's really easy to make a profit. You can just publish it on Amazon and make a little bit of money and feel good that there's money going in your bank account from some creative work that you've done. You're in the black. The quicker you can get into the black, the better. Certainly the quicker I can get to the black on any project, the better I feel about that project. Anyway, so somebody on Twitter suggested one, but I don't know what it is. Weeping Iron, pretty horror-based. The first adventure is Black Shuck. So that doesn't tell me enough to make a book cover. So the big elements that we're looking to convey with a book cover are going to be genre, any kind of subgenre, story elements, the elements of the story within it that the reader is going to expect to see. That's part of genre, but more specific. Like, is it horror with the night, right? Like, is it fantasy horror? You want to convey that. And you're going to do that with the image, the central image, auxiliary images, which is like background, and other things that you may put in there, like curlies in the corners and stuff, to make it look, I don't know, more romantic, depending on what genre you're in, and then font choice and text style, that kind of stuff. So, how would it hold up to DAL E2 though? I haven't used DAL E2. I think I like this one better for a lot of stuff. It depends what you're wanting to do with it. This one tends to make a more coherent painted image, I feel like, than DAL E2. But DAL E2 can make some interesting images as well. For this, I'm trying to get artistic looking things, not... I'm trying to get things that look like they're painted, like they're art, not things that look like photos. Photos are a different thing here, right? So this is kind of an impressionistic painting, but this would work fine for a book cover. You want to catch the mood of what you're doing. The mood and the colors are way more important than the details of the painting when it comes to a book cover, because you're trying to get a person to click on it and then read. So if they see like this little thing, they're like, what is that? Yeah, the details are all weird, but if it's enough for a person to click on, then they'll click on it. And that really accomplishes the goal of the book cover in a way. Hey David, would you more or less do the same process for an album cover as well? Yeah, you just make it square instead of 2x3, so it'll be this aspect ratio. It's the default aspect ratio. In fact, we could do like an album cover. You use /imagine, and then you're gonna click that, and then there's a little prompt box, and you can just type in, I guess, whatever stuff you want to type in here. For me, I think I'm gonna type in. I'm gonna pull the start bar off here. There we go. For me, I think I am going to type in, if I can pull this up a bit. There we go. Okay. Let's think about an album cover, something that'd be cool for an album cover. So maybe we do, I don't know, a neon planet with full nebula. And guitar. We just do that. And I'll give you 4 images. And you can pick one. Now you can do a lot more specific stuff than this, but sometimes it's good to do this and kind of see what it's giving you, and then you can add more keywords to try to get it to like dial in the image the way you want. So as you're generating this, I think it's usually a really good idea to, you can try Frank Frazetta. Here, we'll try that next. We'll see what it does. The thing is, it's not good at doing bodies really, really well. You may have to do a bunch of different versions. You may have to ask it like 30 times to get one that actually looks correct. So like, if you look at these, like any of these could easily be a cool album cover, right? This one would be a really cool album cover for something, you know? It's kind of abstract. It's weird, but the colors are right. You know, it has these neon colors, which look cool. We could also do... oh, wow. Yeah, here we go. Now it's done. Look at these. These are really cool, right? Any of these would be a very cool cover. I'd probably do the one on the left, and I'd probably just upscale that, and that would be the album cover. Boom, it's perfect. It just looks really cool. It'd be a very cool album cover. But yeah, we'll try Frank Frazetta real quick. Let's do... there's certain forbidden words, so you have to kind of... we'll do... how do you spell Frank Frazetta? I don't want to misspell it. Ominous, dark, warrior on horse. Let's just do ominous, dark warrior, Frank Frazetta painting. So we'll try that one, and we'll see what that one looks like. Yeah, this looks like it could be Synthwave meets Dragon Force or something. You know. Solomon Kane in the style of Frank Frazetta. You could try that. Yeah. You can see it start to, you kind of watch it work. So depending on what you're doing, that's really what we want to focus on, is like the main concept. So actually, look at this. Like, these are actually would be pretty good. Now I'm missing one element. I'm missing something that I probably should have done. These are actually really good. All of these would be really, really good. Yeah, Bloody's banned. Shirtless is banned for whatever reason. These are all the wrong aspect ratio, so I forgot to do this. We'll just do the same thing. Ominous, dark, warrior, Frank Frazetta painting. And we do dash dash AR 2x3, and that'll give us a book cover size. So it'll give us four that are shaped like this. And then we can pick one. But these are really good. This guy kind of looks like, I think this is like a really, really cool image right here. Like, I would probably just grab this one right now to use on something else, because I just think it's cool looking, you know. Then you can upscale it later. See, most of these have the right shape and the right colors. You can see, like, the colors and the impression of it is correct. What's not really correct is the composition and some of the details. So like I said, it won't replace a real artist. But an artist could start with this as like a way to, like, oh yeah, this gives me some inspiration for how this looks, and then actually draw an anatomically correct figure on it. So some of these are really good. Like, now we got some purple going on in here, right? Now I happen to think this one's pretty cool. I don't know. Which one do you like best, guys? This one? I like the purple and the orange. That's a really, really strong contrast. And this bright orange also looks good. So let's try upscaling either 1 or 3. You can also get variations on these if you want. If you really like the way this one looks, but you want some more variations, you can just do variations on that one. So let's do that. I like this overall. I think this looks really cool, and I like this one a lot. It's hard to know which one I want. All of these have the really good colors. Top right. And we can try that one. Here, let's do top right. It's going to be number 2. So let's do variations of that one, and it'll just paint some variations real quick. And we'll find a really good, maybe fantasy cover image. And since this is in the right aspect ratio, what we'll do is we'll put title text like up here, and then we can put, the author name down here. You don't need really 2 colors for a painting, but like one main color, purple, might be a good one. These are coming out a little weird. You can see that we're kind of losing. These are getting more abstract really than we want. Like none of these would really be usable. We can make some more variation. You can see like it's maybe trying to draw a naked girl or something here, but it doesn't know what to do. These all look like horrible tumors at this point. This one I think is maybe the closest. So let's do some variations of that one. I like the purple and the orange contrast. That's a really good contrast. Yeah, you might be looking at a tiny screen. Like I said, people are going to look at the thumbnail first. So if you're just trying to get a quick cover done, this is really useful because like this one might end up being really useful right here. And this one might be useful too. You know, or you could use it for like an overpainting kind of thing. All right. So let's see which ones might be usable here. This one might be usable. This one might be usable. I still think probably this one might be the best here. So I'm gonna upscale number 3. We'll go with this frame for a second. Thank you for the super chat, Zimamaru. I'm working on a book cover right now. I wanted some opinions and critiques. Would you be willing to? Just send it to me on a private message on Twitter, and I'll see it. And yeah, I'll give you some feedback. So we can see it's going to start drawing in more details. This still looks really weird to me. Like it's still not quite getting what a person's supposed to look like, as you can tell. But it gets Frank Frazetta's painting style, like, pretty good. Might try another prompt here. We'll try just warrior with sword. Try something simpler. You can add in the colors if you want certain colors. Like otherwise it'll just kind of choose the colors based on what you're putting in. Like this could be a book cover. It just looks really weird. Like the details are very all over the place. If you're getting real specific stuff, like this one came out with a face, and that looks pretty good. You know, and you could easily make that a book cover. So if we upscaled number 2 here, we even do a beta upscale if they hadn't taken the beta offline. So you get this upscale. It looks pretty good. Like it has the qualities of the painting, it has the right textures of the painting. But you look at the figure and you're like, what the hell is that? Right? It's not a very human looking figure. This, however, looks really good. There's a couple little uncanny valley details, like the nose is a little bit off, but because it's in a painting style, you really can get like something that looks pretty good here. You can see it like render and re-render stuff. It's pretty good. So here's a Frank Frazetta warrior. You know, you can see it can get the texture of a Frazetta painting, but not the image. This one's pretty close right here. You could probably get something good out of this one here if you're willing to work with it, like make enough variations, and then you probably get something that looks like a person. But this one right away looks actually pretty good with the frame and everything. I think that looks really good. We could even do like our beta upscale if you want to try that out. So here's what the regular program looks like. I think that's really good. I would like just use that the way it is, but we could do like a beta upscale, and we can take a look at the difference. Yeah, you can do Japanese wood print art. We could do that. Like, the thing is, like I said, the form of the person in it may not look that good. Yeah, we'll do one real quick here. See what it does for that. You got to experiment with this a little bit to figure out what you want. So let's see here. We have here's our upscale beta. You can see that this makes a really smooth image, but not one that has that gritty detail like the original one that it did. So if you're comparing the two, I very much like the, this would be useful if you're wanting to obscure weird details, right? Like this looks in some ways better than this one because you don't have like the slightly weird nose. Like the nose is slightly weird here. So you don't get that. You get the impression of a normal nose. So either one of these would be useful, I think. So anyway, here's some interesting stuff that it came up with based on what we said. This is not what I think of when I think of woodblock print. So I might have to be more specific and like maybe plug in an artist or something. So yeah, we may have to like plug in the name of an artist to get it to do it right rather than give it a genre. Here's a good one. You can put in an artist name and it'll create the textures and style of that artist sometime. So we could do like Vampire by Jacob Jordanes. Yeah, you could copy the beta scaled nose onto the original. There's a lot of things you could do. The original though has like a lot more of the painting detail. Like I would probably just use this one, even though this is messed up. Or I would go into Photoshop and maybe just fix that one element, like redraw that one element, or use like a liquify tool to pull the nose up and just fix that one thing that's wrong. But the fact that it's wrong kind of works for the composition of the piece, I think. So I'd be more inclined to use this one for a cover. That really strong face, I think, has a good appearance to it. So some of these might work too if you're doing something that's like a really traditional vampire, right? It has like very creepy look. I think this stuff works good for horror. All right, so let me check on Twitter here. Blackshuck is a massive demon dog. All right, so let's make that one. Imagine we're gonna do demonic snarling dog, gritty, realistic. Glowing red eyes, gritty, realistic. We could think of an overall color too to contrast with the red, like blue or like colorless. Desaturated blue. And you can add some other stuff in. We'll just, and then we'll do AR23 because this is going to be a book cover. Historical fantasy within the Edo period or before. Yeah, that's a tough one. You know, I'm not sure what I would put in to do that. You could also just use any Sumi art from that time, or any art from that time is going to be public domain. So you could always use that. And there's other AIs that you can put an image in and it can seed its image with whatever that image is. All right, so here we're gonna get some pretty usable images here. I can already tell. This one's kind of funny. It looks like my dog, but demonic, like evil honey bun. Whereas this one looks like it. These two, I think these two are gonna be the good ones. All right, here we go. So I think the top two are the candidates here. I'm not sure. This one has like something going on here. That might be an artist's signature from the painting that it's learning from, that it's stealing from. You can see sometimes there's little traces of artist signatures, like if it's pulling something from Karen Byatt or one of these other digital artists. You could try Kinto Amira. I mean, we could try that. We'll try that out next. So I like these ones. I'm gonna do the design, I think, with one of these two. Which one do you guys like better, 1 or 2? Probably 2. 2 looks like a more fearsome dog. The one definitely has the one definitely has like the creep factor going on. Bottom left looks like yeah, an evil Chihuahua or an evil Shih Tzu or something. But probably number 2 is what we're going to want to work with. We can do some variations in number 2 or some variations in number 1. I think I like number 2 a little bit better. I don't know. What do you guys think? 4 doesn't look very scary to me on my screen. 4 looks a little bit silly. And I don't like the blue eyes. I want the redder eyes. So I might just do some variations of 1. And while that's doing that, let's... hopefully I don't run out of images here. Let's do... what are we going to do? Yeah. Now the problem with trying to duplicate manga is that manga's detailed and accurate, and this doesn't necessarily do accuracy all that well. These are a little bit more what I want for here. That. Okay. Yeah, these are good. I like this one. I like this one too. But this one looks like evil Dr. Seuss to me. And I think I like this one though. I don't know. This one definitely has the mood right. I think I like number 1. So I'm going to upscale number 1. Well, we got some really interesting landscapes here though. Look at this. This is actually really cool. I forgot to put in the correct aspect ratio, but look, like we're getting some really good stuff here. Very good stuff. I'm actually really surprised. I forgot to put the AR in there. So like this one here is really good. You got the samurai and the landscape. Oh, that's really good. All right, I'm just gonna copy that again with the correct aspect ratio, and we'll see what we get. AR 2 to 3. If you want any of these images, let me know, and I'll just give them to you, like either on a private message on Discord or email, whatever you want. Okay, so there's our demon dog image. Ooh, it looks really good. They added an eye in the nose and an eye over here. That's a little weird, but I think I like it because it's so horrifying. You know? I'm tempted to do this one, so I'm actually going to do an upscale number 2 here just to round it out. Because although I think this one's really usable and it has like really good colors, it maybe looks a little too AI. You know, like it looks too weird. Whereas, nah, see this one, no, this one looks like demonic honey bun. Looks like demonic honey bun. I'll probably use this one. Yeah, I wanted this one, but as when they upscaled it, look, they added a bunch of weird stuff. So you get that sometimes. We can do a beta redo. See if that cleans it up. All right, here we go. Here's our samurai, our Kintaro Miura samurai. These are some really good, really useful images here, actually. Like I like all of these images a lot. They'd be useful for all kinds of things. I would probably be inclined to use this one or this one because we have the image of a person here, and you could easily put your author name up here. Like both of these look really good. I like both of those. What do you think? Chapter page or chapter art? Yeah, the landscape. Yeah, that's a way you can use it. There we go. That's the beta. That's the up beta. This one looks better. I like it. Yeah, we'll keep this one. Okay, so I'll do a cover with this one, and yeah, this could totally be chapter art if that's what you're looking for. You can absolutely do that. In fact, that's a really good way. I mean, I hadn't really thought about that at all. It's like if you can make a lot of images, you can just use them for chapter art in your books. You know, something like this. You just tell it. You know the keywords now to plug in like dark Kintaro Miura, and you can get like some really cool art here. So yeah, you could totally use this for chapter art or something like that. That would be a really, really good use for this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this guy, and we'll download him and pop him in the AI art folder. Now let's go ahead and open up Photoshop, and we will make a book cover right now. Here's our art. Here's a bunch of art that I've saved, right? Where is it? There it is. All right, we're going to do new file, and we're going to make it, let's do 6x9. It's easier to go to 5x8. We'll do inches. 6x9. That's a 2x3. So that should fit our image exactly. We'll grab that, throw that in here. Perfect. And we'll just pull it down here a little bit. There we go. All right, so there's the start of our book cover. Now, if we need to, we can actually, you know, play with this a little bit. So let's come up with a font here. I'm going to call it Black Shulk right now. And so we have our start here. Here's our font. It's just black right now, but we can change this to anything we want. Let me make sure this, you guys can actually see everything on the screen here. You maybe can't see the menus. Pull this up a bit. Shrink it and boom. I think you guys can see everything here now. So that'll work. All right, there we go. Okay, it's nice and clear on my screen. Where are my glasses? I might use my glasses for this. Spectacles, activate. Could use a druid or medieval text. We're probably going to use, because this is horror, like here's the description. So we're going to want to use a font that hits this description. Elite Special Operations Team is sent to destroy Black Shulk. Oh, Black Shulk is a massive demon dog. Been thinking of mixing a bit of zombie demon dog. All right, Black Shulk. All right, Black Shulk is what it's called. So we'll just do that. Black Shulk. And we can just call that, we can put that here. Now, for horror, we really want fonts that are going to work for horror. We may go grab a font. Let me see what I've got. You generally want some like strong sans serif fonts or just simple serif fonts. I'm not sure what I have. This is a new computer, so I lost all my old fonts. They're on my old computer. We could do liquor store. That's going to be more sci-fi. Sorry. No. Let's head over to 1001 fonts. And let's pop this guy here, and we'll just see what we can find. Headline, sans serif. We want, no, not logo type. Let's get rid of that. Large X height. So large X height means that's the height of the little letters. We could take that off. Handwritten. No, we don't want that. Eroded. So this might work. This scratch font here. This is actually probably a good one too. This might be a good one. This one's good. Let me know if you guys see one that you're like, man, that one's really good. This one's pretty good. So this already does a bunch of the design work that we want. Soul Mission regular. This one looks really good for this. This one's good because I just like all caps for titles. You can also, so this one's kind of cut. You can also do the font and then grunge it up yourself. So that's also an option. So if we did something like, let's do, for this font, let's do Futura. We're going to do PT heavy oblique, bold oblique, and then we'll do all caps, black shock, like this. You could also put it up here. It doesn't really matter, and we can even shrink the image and put it here, but we can do it even in 2 lines if we want it to be really huge. White, so we can see it better. Okay. Then what you can do for here is you can create a layer that only works with this one, and just do it that way. So like I can create a new layer. Do a new layer, and we can make this layer basically just go to that one, but the clipping mask. So if we take our paintbrush or something, and I don't think I have a star one. Here we go. Chunky charcoal. In what color do we have here? Whoops. Black. So you can do stuff like that. We can also, let's see what we can do here. We can make it, cut the flow down. As you can see, you can just kind of grunge it up any way you want to. Let's size it up. Make it big. Like this. And then we can, oops. Or even, check this out. You can just do a layer mask here. And boom. Like that. Maybe let's turn that flow down even more. Boom, look at that. We did our own grunge font. So that works pretty good right there. And let's see what's some other stuff that we have. Or what's it called? Weeping Iron. So we'll call it Weeping Iron Book 1. Let's do another text here. Weeping Iron Book 1. Oops. No, this is actually kind of fun. You could, oops. Just new layer. Text. Weeping Iron. Book 1. All right, there we go. So that one works good. I'm gonna make this one, instead of this bold oblique, I'm gonna make it medium, and then we're gonna really space it out. So we're gonna make it 100, 200, like that. Okay. Now we haven't even done any other effects. All we've done is just like the title. Just to show some other things you could do here with the title, like you could do 2 lines, right? If you wanted to, depending on how big you wanted that title. Like if you were using if you're using a square image, you may want to use like a big title like this, so that people can really see it. See what I mean? But I think we're gonna stick to the smaller title. Like this. And if we want to cram it in harder, that's pretty good, I think. We don't want to crowd out our image too much. What's your Twitter handle? It's David V. Stewart. David V. Stewart's my Twitter handle. There you go. There we go. Okay, now what's the artist's name? Who's hitting me up on Twitter? Ben Phelps. Okay. I know Ben Phelps. I wonder if this is the Ben Phelps I know. I don't think it is. I know Ben Phelps. All right, let's see here. Let's say Ben Phelps. Now for this one, we're gonna, let's just do like, we can just do something really simple like cormorant, small caps, bold. Usually you want this kind of reversed, but you know, you can do it any way you want it to. Notice we haven't done any like text effects yet. We've just been doing the fonts. I like it like that. Let's find a different, simpler serif font. I want a serif. Rather than Futura. Futura is like a really easy go-to that I use for lots of stuff. Like Garamond is good. Gloucester might be good. I mean, these are all system fonts. They all work. You know. Any of these can work pretty good. What if I have a slab serif? Let's go over onto our font website. Let's see if we can find a slab serif that we like real quick. So we eroded our own font. Let's go. We're gonna go headline. We don't want sans serif. We have a slab serif. Serif. Cinzel, this is like a classic fantasy font. This is a pretty good one. It's kind of already like eroded. You can see chunk 5. This is a good one right here. What is this one? Font free for commercial use. Perfect. This is a good little horror font here if you're doing like Underworld. That's a good one right there. Let me see. I think. Yeah, we'll just use this one real quick. And we will install it. I may not be able to use it in Photoshop till I restart the program, though. I realize. No, I don't like that one, but we'll install it anyway. We might use it for like a newspaper font or something at some point. I don't know if I can use this right away in Photoshop. Maybe not. Is it Barbaro? Nope, we can. There we go. All right, that works. So yeah, I think that works. Now we may actually want to, this is really tall. Let's do this. Keep it like that. We're going to spread it out. We're going to make it like 75. Do this. We're going to take off this, and we're actually going to, there we go. You don't normally do this unless you know what you're doing. Is to shrink the font like that. Oh, thank you, Sergeant Slim Jim. I really appreciate these creative design screens. Very inspirational to develop my channel's design. All right, I'm glad. Thank you. I appreciate the super chat. How much would you charge someone to read a 4th draft of their novel? I don't really do that. You should hire a competent editor if that's what you're looking to do. Okay. All right, now let's go ahead and finish our design here since this image works really good. So some of the things we're going to do is we're going to frame this so that the edges are black, and we're going to add some text effects here. So one of the first things we'll do is we'll add a little bit of a drop shadow to this. That's going to make it pop out quite a bit. This is a color burn drop shadow, or we could do a regular drop shadow depending on what we want. Notice the color burn has a little bit subtler effect, and we can do one of each too to make it really pop. So we're going to just leave it like that. That's good. For this, we can do like a drop shadow like this. I might do a color burn and just turn the opacity down a lot so that we can still see the image. Like this is doing the image. And we could do a normal one. I think it looks fine just like that. So I may just keep it like that. Since it's already very dark, we don't need a lot of black underneath it. You could also do something like a, inner glow on it. Where's outer glow? Outer glow will look like this, right? So you could do something that's kind of a little different. Has a little more ghostly look to it. And we could do something like that. We can also make it a little bit more subtle and then crank the drop shadow up just a little bit. See? Just there we go. Just it's subtle, but it works. Other stuff you could do is add a texture to it on top of that. Or you could do like an emboss. You can emboss a texture here, which is going to look a little weird, as you guys can see. But you could do it if you wanted to. I think I like it just like that. No contour, no emboss, just that. Pattern overlay, you could do a pattern if you wanted something a little different, like water. And just turn the opacity down a bunch. So now it's got that little blue there. So it's just water. with just adding a little color there. I'm just going to turn it way down so it's just really subtle. It's just a really subtle look. So that's good. It's all going to be white. What's our outer glow? Add some noise to it. A little bit of noise, like 3% noise is good. We can add our spread a little bit, maybe a bit. Yeah, it's a little bit of glow there. See, that's starting to look pretty cool. We could have a stroke here. That's just a color like that. If you just want to define the letters a little more. I don't think we need it. I think it looks better without it. I think that looks good. I kind of like this water pattern. You could do grass or any of these trees, but I like this water here, I think. And we'll up, change the angle a bit. There we go. Scale. If you turn up the scale, it basically zooms it in. You turn down the scale, it'll zoom it out. So I think that's pretty good. Last thing we may want to put in here is a really subtle gradient overlay. We're going to go with the blue. Oh, that's not the blue I want. I guess that's white. And then let's do this one. It's like a dark blue. All right, fine. We'll do it manually. And this one will be, we'll make it like a really, even like a purple would be good, really saturated. Now for this, we're just going to put that here. We're going to crank up the scale, and then we're going to turn down the opacity quite a bit so that you get, bam, like that. I think it looks pretty good. What do you guys think? Looking good here? I think I don't like the purple. I'm going to pull the purple more into the blue space. Like that. There we go. And I'm going to pull this more into the green space like that. There we go. And then here's it. It's fully saturated, but we're going to dial it back. So it's like this. And then I'm going to color this a bit. New color overlay, and we're just going to make that color that color. So it's mostly white, but it's just a tinge of blue. See? Boom. And then this is white, and we're going to just add a drop shadow there. I'm going to shrink. Let's do just a regular one. There we go. That's pretty much perfect. Now I have medium. We can try book. We can even try light if you want it really subtle. Generally, the smaller it is, the heavier the font needs to be. So I think book or medium looks good and subtle for this. All right, last thing we're going to do is we are going to pull this layer back down here, and we're going to frame this a little bit just by creating a slight vignette. We could even, we can make like a grit vignette. Oh, that looks cool. That's something different. Let's actually do that. Now that just because I think that'll be cool. We'll create like a grit vignette. Let's turn the flow up a little bit, and let's turn the opacity down to about 50. And here we go. We'll just create like some gritty vignette here, like this. What do you guys think? A little more grit up there. You can just like click in where you want more of the vignette effect. Boom. There we go. I think that's pretty much done. A little too much there. Put a little grit there, a little grit there. Maybe a little bit more here. A little bit more here. More there. Just to kind of frame stuff out. What do you guys think? This is Photoshop. That's the program. This is Photoshop. I want this to be slightly, let's do an inner glow. We're gonna make the inner glow pretty bright here, and we'll let's do it like that. Okay, same thing with this. I'm gonna add an inner glow. So we're gonna do, let's see, it's just gonna kind of pop out the edges here. Bam. All right, guys, there she is. Black Shuck. I think it looks pretty good, and like that's just an AI image, you know. So it's really, it's like really not hard to. It's really not hard to do one of these. It's like cheap, and it looks good. People click on that, want to buy it. Bam. Now let's go ahead and export it. We'll just export it as a PNG real quick. And I'll find it here in a minute and send it out. Let's see here. It's in my art file, which I need to archive this and make another one. I could see it. See, it pops out in the folder. Like you can just see it pop right there, which is great. And there you go. Oops. All right, there you go. We designed a cover live, and I think it's pretty good. I think this would be something that would sell in the horror genre without too much difficulty. It tells you what you need to know. There's a demonic dog. You click on it, you read the blurb, and then you buy the book. Yeah, red and blue make a good contrast. I think complementary colors that are one click off work good. So blue and yellow, blue and red. So two primary colors. Or maybe something like green and yellow, or like green and red is the highest contrast, but like, you know, maybe one over. So if you're doing purple, instead of doing purple and yellow, you do like purple and orange, and that tends to be a really strong contrast. Versus purple and yellow, it's really strong. If you're doing green and instead of green and red is the strongest, green and orange, it's a little better. Green and yellow even has a really strong contrast, even though they're right next to each other. Yeah, I probably spent less time making this image than I would have going through stock photos and trying to find the perfect image for this. This is Midjourney, which you actually can use with Discord. It works with Discord, but I could totally make this like a Muramasa cover easily, and I could just like color the moon. You know, we could do something like this: samurai beneath a red moon, like this one right here. This would be like a really, really good piece of art for a chapter heading or anything like that. It's a really good idea. Like maybe when I do the hardback of Muramasa, I'll put in a bunch of chapter headings that are AI. They might look pretty cool. Might be kind of a cool thing. And I like this. I don't know if I would personally use this, but I think it looks cool. You know, I think it's very usable for if anybody wanted to use it for something. And like, yeah, these could be album covers. You know, this could be a book cover, something like that. Oh, I forgot to. Where is it? Newest. I put a book up on Kindle Vela. Lawless Darkness. You're gonna have 2 updates a week, so check it out. This one has an AI generated image as the cover too, just for fun. People really like that image. They're like, "Whoa, that's crazy looking." You know, it's an H.R. Geiger Holy Crusader or something like that. H.R. Geiger, like you can create some amazing stuff just by plugging in the names of artists. So I'll just show you another one. Demonic Dog by H.R. Geiger. I forgot the prompt. So /imagine Demonic Dog by H.R. Geiger. You do gritty Gritty horror. Aspect ratio 2:3. Let's see what oops. That's why. Give me space there. And it'll probably create some cool stuff. Berserk, but it's feudal Japan instead of medieval Europe with those AI mirror images. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it definitely gets kind of the gist of his composition, but the details aren't there. So it tends to do two things well. It can do like the gist of a mood, of a texture. Like these are Frank Frazetta's textures, but not the details. Or it can do the details, but not the mood. It's really hard to do both, right? Like the mood, I think for book covers is much more important than the details. Yeah, these are not going to be very good, but you know, this one would be pretty usable. Again, when you put in dog, it's doing chihuahuas and stuff because it's using people's dogs. And people have cute dogs. So what you need to put in is like demonic wolf. Go. I lost it. I may not have liked something I did there. There we go. All right, so these are pretty cool, right? You could definitely, these are definitely pretty horrific, right? So H.R. Geiger's a great prompt here. You could even maybe try to get it to combine stuff. Like you could try, I love experimenting with this stuff because it's like samurai, H.R. Geiger, Kintaro, Mira, horror, AR, wait, see what that does. Let's combine a couple. We can just experiment with this live. Sam Hyde's fight there's a fight with Sam Hyde. They should be streaming it all over YouTube. Gavin McInnes got arrested yesterday. Again. Samurai Geiger. Like a lot of this stuff is Geiger's that I was using. Because I think it just works, like the AI is really good at it. You know? It creates like some really just freaking creepy images. It's very much like towards the feeling of H.R. Geiger. You know, I like these two. And I think I was going to use this one because it ended up adding extra eyes and stuff, which I thought was cool. But we could beta redo. Like, it just just looks so cool. Very horrifying stuff. Let's see what we get down here. 0%. It's busy right now on Saturday. It's busy. All right, appreciate everybody coming by and hanging out with me during this little thing. I don't know where my Vita is. My kids are playing with it. Yesterday while I was putting in like one of those wall mounts for a TV, I was installing one. My son was playing with it. It's somewhere. We couldn't find it. So it got stuck in a drawer somewhere when we were cleaning up. And so now I don't know. Now it's stuck. Our bot is stuck, unfortunately. All right. Well, it's not gonna process Geiger and Mira. Yeah, we broke it. But it's okay. This is like evil honey bun. Undead honey bun. Honey bun, come here. Come here. Come here. Show them what a demonic dog you are. Come here. Here she is. Here's the demon dog. So yeah, I mean, they look like evil versions of this dog. Like, hi guys, I'm evil. Yeah, I could probably do Geiger. This is not working, so we'll leave it alone for now. It's not gonna work flawlessly. You know, things are not gonna always work flawlessly. I don't know. Maybe that'll work. Maybe it won't. For the HR Geiger thing, or we could put in another one. You just do Samurai by HR Geiger. We'll just do like a Geiger Samurai. Oh, I gotta put in the prompt. All right, so this one, for whatever reason, is not working, but it got a little too confused putting in multiple artist names. If it gets stuck, you can try the prompt again. Okay, maybe we'll do that. Let's see what the HR Geiger Samurai looks like. Oh, I already see some stuff I like. Yeah, I already see some cool stuff. Like, see, it's like adding in the Geiger style as we go. All right, let's take a look at what we got. Yeah, there's definitely some cool stuff. Definitely some cool stuff. I DM'd you my cover. Thanks. Let me take a look real quick. All right. Accept. All right. All right. I'll send it to you. I'll talk to you in a private message. I'll just tell people, like, my caution with using CG people is that it becomes obvious they're CG people when you look closely. It's not necessarily a bad thing, because like I said, you're trying to get the mood of something. Oh, here we go. Oh, I like some of these too. Look at this guy. That's a cool one. Some interesting ones here. Really, I think it's like the Geiger style. Ooh. Oh, yeah. Now we're getting some good stuff. See, this is freaking cool right here. Look at this. Man, those are some cool images. These two are they're all cool. They're all really cool. This one has a very cool face. Like, I would be very tempted to use this for something. You know, I could easily use that as like a Muramasa cover. Or a cover to something else. Or like color the eyes red or something, and then you're good to go. This would be like, both of these, this would be a really, really good starting image to do stuff with. And, yeah, I like all of them, but this one's probably this one and this one. This one just has a great horror element to it. Just, it looks really spooky. Really spooky. But I would totally use this for a samurai cover. It just looks very cool. It looks very different. It really popped with a little bit of some color space stuff. In fact, why don't we do that? Let's upscale number 4, and we'll just play around with that. Make a new Muramasa cover. Yeah, I think this would actually work really good. We'll color his eyes red, and we'll do some other. We'll like do everything around here red and white. It's gonna look really good. I might actually use this. Yeah, it's good stuff. Yeah, very good stuff. Yeah, this is what we designed today. It's pretty good. I think the author's happy with it, so he can use it. He can have fun with that. So again, just to reiterate what I did, the image was the AI, and we got the colors right, which matters. Then we just did 2 different fonts. It's this Futura, and then I like gridded it up with a paintbrush, and then just did a little bit of glow, a little bit of texture, a little bit of gradient, drop shadows, everything pops. So it looks really, just has a cool look to it. All right, I think this one's good. I'm going to open it up on the web, save it in here, and let's go over to Photoshop and let's make a new cover. New 6x9. And I don't know if I want to reuse my Muramasa logos that I've used over and over again, that I made forever ago. But here we go. Boom. There it is. Awesome. Okay, so let's design. Let's do some design. Put Muramasa up here. Let's make it white for now. Oops. Get back on here. Muramasa. Then we will do Blood Drinker. And boom, like that. This is, we're going to change all this stuff, so I'm just getting the basic elements here. David B. Stewart. That. Down here. We can also, we can do some other things in the image to kind of get our sense of space here working right. All right, so got our fonts, or we got our text here. Let's go here. We're gonna go Cormorant, small cap, bold, semi bold. And let's take off the caps here. That. Go. And in fact, we could. You know what? Let's see. I don't know what font we want to use here. We could probably find like an Asian font that works, or I can grab my old Muramasa logo, which maybe I can do that real quick. Geigeramasa. Let's see here. Google Drive. I have a whole Muramasa folder here, so. Covers and art. Do this by large icons. Something that's going to really get it. wonder if I have my... You could do like a blood splatter up here too, which would look pretty cool. I can just do my own blood splatter. I'll show you how to do that. It's really easy. I'm not sure where... Logo 1? Logo 2. Is that the logo? I think I have it in a different format. There we go. So there's kind of the logo all as one. Let's actually do it like this. Masa. Oh no, that's way too low res. Yeah, these are way too low res. Actually doesn't matter. What's the res on this? This is a proper high res file. I'll just do it twice. So watch this. All right. So then we'll make 2 of them here really easily. If I just want to keep using my old logo because I like it to get it's hand drawn. It's cool. It saved me some effort here. So for this one, let's we're going to, where's our paintbrush? We don't want that. We want just a hard round. And then we're going up, opacity 100%, flow 100%. I'm just going to erase the part that says blood drinker. So now it just says Muramasa. Oop. Oop. Put that up there. I do. And this one, we'll do the same thing. We could also just do like a regular font that says blood drinker underneath it. So I'll try it both ways. Let's erase Muramasa. Boom. Now we can kind of do these however we want to do them. We can do them like wide or not. But we'll start with this. And actually, I think both ways. So we can try both ways. Let's create a little layer here. And grab our paintbrush. Let's go back to that. I think I had some dry media. Where is it? Boom, got this. We can do this in kind of any, we can do a couple colors. So let's start with like a really kind of dark, deep red here. And you can just do that. Let's turn the flow down quite a bit and our size up quite a bit. I want it like really big. Flow. This is too big. That's too big. Let's do 1,000. This is 500. Okay, it's a little too much. So we're kind of creating like the effect of a blood splatter. We'll also do a lighter one on top like this. So we kind of can layer it. Like that. And then there are some other splatter brushes we can use. We'll use a couple of different brushes. Here's this is even better. See, we'll just create splatter. Let's do this. Let's do all splatter. Let's start with dark red. Like that, like that. Okay. Actually, I think I'm going to go back to that other one. Supreme splatter. Here, let's. We don't want foliage mix. Let's go back to this one, chunky charcoal. And let's get it pretty big here and the flow pretty low. And the flow down really low. It's too big. Let's do 1000. No, not 100. 1000. Okay. That's as much background as we want. And then we're going to line it up. Oops. And let's go over to splatter. Got some splatter brushes. And we'll do something maybe even lighter here. And then we'll do some dark on top. All right, so we're just kind of building up a look of blood here. So we have lots of splatter. Let's do that. Let's do some dark on top here. That. And we get an idea what's going on here. Okay. There's some blood splatter. Which is fun. Kind of has more of the design elements of the original. You could even put some down here, right? Put some on the sides, like that. I feel like there's actually a little bit too much splatter because I want to see more of the image underneath. So that's a good start. I'm not going to delete it, but I'm going to redo it because I actually feel like it's a little too much splatter. Do this much splatter here. There we go. Switch it up. Do the lighter splatter on top. And do a bright red splatter. This. I feel like we do need some more kind of thick, dark stuff on top. We'll shrink it down. And really, there we go. So I still want to see some of the art underneath, and I can do some stuff with the effects to really kind of make it pop. So this is our Lego white one. We can do like a drop shadow. You'll see that that'll make it lift off quite a bit, as you can see, especially with color burn. We do it like a regular drop shadow. It's too much, but we crank up the color burn and it looks pretty. It starts to look pretty cool there. And we can size it up just a bit. Subtle. We want it subtle. Okay. I think I might replace that with this one, just like a regular font, and just have it be really a lot more spread out here. Do something like that. Do the same thing. We can also turn this back on and just compare the two. We can also turn down the opacity of one or the other to just kind of bring it in. Another thing we can do is, if we do another layer, just to play around with these brushes some more. We do this, but we crank up the size to something really big, and we get like big spots of blood. Let's make the size really big. See, big spots of blood. Now this is going all over the place, but that's okay. It really is, because what we're going to do is Shrink it back down. Layer it up. A couple different things here. Then we do our combine these two. When we do this one, we can just erase. We can just erase this stuff here. With our thing here. Just erase the extra splatter, as much of the splatter as we want. There's too much splatter, you just kind of pull it off. Kind of random here though. Kind of pull it off. I kind of like that combo. To me looks really pretty good. It's pretty good to me. Do another drop shadow, but I'm going to make it a regular one. I'm just going to shrink it down and just turn on the opacity on it. There we go. Boom. So yeah, I like this. I think this looks pretty cool. That like flash of red. Now I'm going to go over here and I'm going to create some other stuff here for these eyes. I'm going to color some subtle red in on the eyes, and I'm probably going to color all of this red. And one of the things we can do here for that is actually I'm not going to do it as a I'll have that layer there because I may use it, but we'll make an adjustment. We'll do a hue saturation, and we're going to make it as a colorize effect. Hopefully you guys can see that. Looks like we got a bot here. There we go. Remove all that stupid stuff. Yeah, all right, so this is red. We're going to crank up the saturation here quite a bit. So now everything's red, right? And all we're going to do here is we're going to use the layer mask, and we're going to paint out the red. And so we're going to leave some of this stuff red, and we're going to leave some of the eyes red. So all we have to do is paint out the red. Another thing we can do actually is we can invert the layer mask. Or actually, here's an easy way to invert it. We'll just fill it with black. Okay, so that got rid of all the red, and then we can just paint in the red wherever we want it. Like right here. And we can do it with maybe 50% opacity to just sort of bring the color in kind of naturally here. Kind of around him. I want these tendrils to be like red. And we can shrink this down a bit and just kind of color the eyes red a little bit. As you can see, that'll create like an effect. Or we could get really small here and let's drop this down about 20. We can just color like this part red if we wanted to, and like make his eyes yellow. I'll show you what we'll do with that too. Just like enhance the yellow of his eyes because there's already a little subtle yellow there. Right, so we can give him like a red cast in the eyes here, which I think looks pretty good. And we can also just put red in here like wherever we really want things to be very red, you know. Like I like these little tendrils to be red, so I'll color them all red. Nice bright, penetrating red. So now we have a really good mixture of red and white here. We could even, if you wanted to, you could make his like lips red here. If you wanted to. I don't like it. I think I like just the eyes. It's more subtle. Go to like really high opacity, get these really red here so they really pop. Oops. Have a little bit of red in the middle here. If you want to add extra red, we can just do that here with like a bright red, about that color red, and we can add it like right in the middle here. so that like his pupils are a little red. Not crazy about that. Yeah, we could just something like that. If you wanted to add opaque red like on top of the image rather than color a white part red. What I might do here is I'm actually going to do a yellow, like a really bright golden yellow. And we'll have the opacity pretty low. And we'll just kind of bring up the... No, it's not going to look very good. Do the dodge tool. Actually, you know what we could do? Change this layer to color dodge. And then this will, see, this will bring it up really bright. And the opacity down quite a bit. And we can just kind of bring up the yellow in his eyes, like right here. Make him a little more yellow. Like that. A little more subtle here. There you go. So just like that hint of yellow will work pretty good. And we could turn that yellow up or down, but I kind of like it a little brighter. Boom. Here's a new cover for Muramasa. Looks pretty rad. Have you done just a pure black and white book before? Not really. Not really. But I don't know. You could do a pure black and white cover. There's nothing actually wrong with that. So yeah, we get the idea that there's a samurai. And then here, you know, I could probably further kind of blend out the blood right here, so that like you see less of that blood. And I could do the same thing here. This, and just kind of blend out the blood up here, so that we see more of this. Oh, I have the wrong color here. No wonder. Kind of blend this out and blend it out up here. See? And you can get real subtle here too. Like you could, if you want to bring in more of the art, you know, you can just kind of fade that stuff in the middle there, or get this real small. Just kind of pull stuff out of the middle here. And same thing here. Just kind of pull stuff out of. Oops. Why is this? Oh, I see why. Anyway, yeah. So that kind of pulls stuff out of the middle here. I may actually want to bring some of this back in because it's too much. There you go. I think I kind of liked a lot of it up there. It obscures the picture a little bit, but it's okay. We can also just turn the opacity down a bit and get the effect. Turn the opacity down here just a little bit, you know, so that we get more of the art coming through. But I think that looks good. You guys tell me. All right, I think that looks pretty cool. I'll just put it on the book, see how it sells. We'll do it as an ebook cover, and we'll see how it works. Muramasa 2022. There we go. Okay. All right. Well, I think that's about it for this stream. I'm going to take a break. I might come back and... It's already 2. Might come back and do like a gaming stream. Here's the image we started with for this cover. And here's what we did for the book cover. So we didn't really have to do that much. I just like added some color. I mean, you could be more subtle too. Like I could add some red right here. Let's try that actually, just to see what that's like. So we'll do this, hue saturation. I have this. You can just like draw red right there or something, right? If you want like a little flash of red, you just paint it right there. Or you know, whatever you want to do. Whatever you want to do for this. I think it looks pretty good that way. I don't think there's anything we really need to change. All right. Let's export it. Does the AI own the copyright? No, not with Midjourney. But even if someone reuses the art, I actually really don't care. There we go. Okay. I found a copy of Photoshop 2008 at a thrift store for a couple bucks. Would it be sufficient for most Photoshopping needs? For a lot of them, yes, but yeah, it actually would be sufficient for a lot of needs. The only problem might be activating the product, because I think in 2008 they were still using DRM, like you had to activate the product online, and so it might be difficult to do that. You might have to like call them. If it's a used copy, you won't be able to activate it. That's the way they did it back then. Oh, you know, I'm going to do a couple more subtle things here, because this part might want to be red too. No, I don't think we need it. We don't really need it. Looks just fine the way it is. All right. I'm going to call that good. I'm going to call that good. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me and watching for a while. I appreciate it. Hopefully this is informative and fun to watch. Just some like live design. We got a couple of good book covers done. We could do more book covers and you know, more stuff with the images we generated. That would be really fun and cool. We made a book cover for someone who maybe needs a book cover to sell their book, which is cool. If there's any image that you saw in here that you want and you don't have Midjourney, just let me know, and I'll, you know, find me on Twitter and I'll just mail it to you or whatever. I'll just get it to you however you want. Yeah, just let me know. So thanks, guys, and I will see you all next time. Have a great day. Newest story is actually up on Kindle Vela. I'm gonna have it updated twice a week. And yeah, that's what's up. Let me give a link to the new pub Discord. I haven't been hanging out as much lately, but I probably need to. How do I share this? Invite people. I mean, this should. There's a Discord. That is the new pub Discord, new pub fan club Discord. I'll try to be more active on it as I go along. I just forget about a lot of things. Like I don't use Discord for a lot of stuff. Now I'm using it a lot for AI art, but anyway. Take it easy, guys, and I'll see you all next time. Have a great one.